All right, let's dive in. Today, we're not just unpacking another machine learning algorithm. We're looking at a powerful strategic tool that can help you, as a leader, make much sharper, more confident decisions with your data. It's called a support vector machine, or SVM, and trust me, by the end of this, you'll see exactly how it gives you a real competitive edge.
So let's just get right to the heart of it. Every business is swimming, maybe even drowning, in data. But how do you actually use it? I mean, how do you draw that perfect line between a sales lead that's a sure thing and one that's just a total waste of time? Or figure out which customers are about to leave versus which ones are your champions? This is the classic classification challenge, and solving it, well, that's where the real value is hiding.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start with that big classification challenge. Then, I'll introduce you to a really simple way to think about SVMs. We'll call it the widest street analogy. From there, we'll connect the dots from code to actual business strategy. Check out some real-world examples, and I'll even give you a playbook for your own projects. Sound good? Let's go.
You know, businesses are constantly sorting things into different buckets, but it's gotten so much more complicated, right? You're not just looking at age and income anymore. Now you've got purchase history, browsing behavior, social media activity, dozens, maybe hundreds of different factors. That's what we mean by high-dimensional data, and it's exactly where the old, simple methods just fall apart.
So, if a simple line doesn't work, what does? This is where SVMs are so clever. Imagine your data points are like houses in two different neighborhoods. An SVM doesn't just draw a fence between them. No, it builds the widest possible street, creating the biggest, safest gap between the two. And that gap, we call it the margin. The whole goal of SVM is to make that margin as wide as humanly possible. Now that center line of our big wide street has a fancy technical name, the hyperplane. You know, in a simple chart with two dimensions, it's just a line. But in the real world, with all those customer attributes we talked about, it's a hyperplane. But seriously, don't get hung up on the name. It's just the rule. It's the line that separates a yes from a no, or churn from stay. That's it.
And this right here is where SVMs really earn their peep. See, you could draw a narrow little path that separates your current data perfectly fine. But what happens when a new customer shows up who's a little bit different? That's when a narrow path fails. The wide street, though, that big safety buffer, that margin, makes your model so much more robust and way better at predicting the future, not just describing the past.
So what actually determines where this wide street is built? Well, here's the crazy part. It's not every single house. It's only the houses right on the edge of the curb, the ones closest to the other neighborhood. We call these support vectors. Think of them as your most ambiguous borderline cases. And here's the kicker. You could move any of the other houses around, and the street wouldn't change one bit. But if you move a support vector, the entire street, the whole decision boundary shifts. This makes SVMs incredibly efficient because they focus only on the toughest cases. This brings us to a really important control that you, as the manager, get to have. It's a setting called the C parameter, and you can think of it as your risk tolerance dial. If you set a low C, you're basically saying, you know what, I want a really wide, robust street. I'm okay if one or two houses end up on the wrong side, as long as my general rule is solid. But if you crank C up high, you're saying, nope, I want perfect accuracy on the data I have right now, even if that means my street gets a little narrower. You get to make that strategic trade-off between generalization and precision.
Okay, but what happens if your data is just a complete mess? You know, what if the good and bad customers are all jumbled up and you can't draw a straight line between them? This is where something called the kernel trick comes in, and it's genius. It's kind of like taking a tangled up sheet of paper, lifting it up into 3D space, and suddenly realizing you can slice right through it with a flat piece of cardboard. The kernel trick does that for your data. It finds a new perspective where a messy problem suddenly becomes simple and linear.
All right, the concepts are cool, I get it. But how do you actually use this stuff in the real world? Let's talk about turning a few lines of computer code into a real, money-making business strategy.
Now, you might be thinking you need to be a coding wizard to use SVMs, but you really don't. With amazing tools like Python's scikit-learn library, it boils down to just a few lines of code. Look at this. The hard part, the valuable part, isn't writing the code. It's knowing what questions to ask and how to interpret the answers the model gives you.
And this is how we do that translation. That hyperplane? That's not a math term. It's your new decision policy. The margin? That's your safety buffer, your confidence level. Those support vectors? Those are the critical, borderline customers you need to pay extra attention to. And the C parameter? As we said, that's your risk tolerance dial. It's all business language.
And when you check how well your model is working, it's not just about overall accuracy. It's about the kind of mistakes you're willing to live with. Let's say you're trying to predict customer churn. Precision asks, of all the people we spent money on trying to retain, how many were actually going to leave? That's about resource efficiency. Recall, on the other hand, asks, of all the people who did leave, how many did we successfully flag? That's about minimizing risk. Which is more important? Well, that's a business decision, not a technical one.
So where can you actually put this thing to work? Honestly, the applications are all over the place. Let's look at how SVMs are giving companies a serious competitive advantage across different departments.
In marketing, it's a total game changer for predicting churn or scoring leads. It can even sift through thousands of customer reviews to figure out the general sentiment. Are people happy or angry? In finance, it's huge for assessing credit risk or predicting bankruptcies. It can even look at a complex financial asset and classify it. Is this thing behaving more like a risky stock or more like a safe bond? Super powerful stuff.
Over in HR, you can use an SVM to predict which of your top employees might be at risk of leaving so you can step in before it's too late. And in operations? Oh, it's huge for predictive maintenance. By looking at sensor data from a factory machine, it can classify its state as healthy or about to fail, saving you from massive, costly shutdowns.
Okay, for all of you working on your MBA or other capstone projects, let's make this super practical. Here's a simple framework for using SVM to deliver a really high-impact analysis that's going to get you noticed.
All right, here it is, your 5-step playbook. 1. Start with a clear, specific business problem. 2, and this is so important, you have to justify why SVM is the best tool for this specific problem. 3. Go ahead and build the model and tune that C parameter. 4. Translate everything you find back into plain English, into business terms. And finally, 5. Deliver clear, actionable recommendations that are backed up by your analysis.
And that justification part, it's key. You'll want to use an SVM when your data has tons of features like text data, or when getting that wide, robust margin is really important. But hey, if you need actual probabilities, like a 75% chance of churn, or if your problem is fairly simple and linear, then a different tool like logistic regression might be a better choice. Knowing when to use which tool, that shows real strategic thinking.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? Building the model is becoming the easy part. The real skill for future leaders is interpreting what that model's telling you about risk, about opportunity, and about your overall strategy.
So if you walk away with just one thing today, please let it be this. Support vector machines are so powerful because they don't just find any boundary between your data. They find the single best boundary by making that safety buffer, that widest street, as big as possible. And that makes it an incredibly robust tool for messy, noisy, real-world business problems.
Which leaves us with one final thought for you to chew on. When you face your next big classification problem, what are you going to prioritize? Are you going to go for that wide, robust street that generalizes well? Or are you going to demand perfect accuracy on the data you already have? There's no single right answer, but now you have the framework to make a much smarter choice.